I'm Tommy.
I'm Sarah Francis.
I'm Ellen.
Hello, I'm going to tell you today about how Thomas Edison shocked the world. Many of us turn on light bulbs and cook things on our stoves, but we never think about how these things got there. During my time at Wallace, I have learned many different ways about how things are made and how they are maintenance. Thomas Edison was one of these men who helped invent these things, and at a very young age, this was something that he learned how to do. I hope we will all have a greater appreciation at the end of this speech for the things he did and inventors have done after him. To begin with, I would like to tell you about how Thomas Edison was born and bred to be a pioneer and an inventor. At a very young age, he did not have it made. He was kicked out of school or pulled out of school actually, at a very young age because the teachers called him hyperactive. This is documented in the website biography. His mother felt like that this was something that he would not get a proper education doing, so at a very young age, his mother pulled him out of school and began to homeschool him. During this time, he had more time to invent and to explore who he truly was. He also began a job part-time at the age of 12 on a railroad car to help his family make ends meet. But during this time, he began to experiment on the back of his railway car and ended up ultimately losing the job because he almost set the railroad on fire. He also was someone who was broke, and he also was someone who didn't have it made as he went through life. He liked to spend a lot of his time inventing, and so because of this, he had to pick up kind of odd jobs and part-time jobs. As a telegraph person. Now, during a telegraph person, Thomas Edison had a hearing impairment, so this created a big challenge to him. But he was able to make inventions that he would invent in his spare time that would also help him to have an advantage, and it also helped him to begin his inventing career. But during this time, he was also a bad father because he was not able to spend a lot of time with his children because he would spend days and nights at his shop and just sleep for a few hours at a time just to get the job done. His first inventions were things for the telegraph, as I mentioned, but he also had many other great inventions before his most famous one. Some of the things he invented was a phonograph and a car battery, and these were very practical applications. But his most great invention was the light bulb. As I've talked about from the beginning, I would like to talk about his greatest invention. Thomas Edison harnessed and applied electricity like no one else had done before. He was not the first person to explore the light bulb, but because of his knowledge and his great ambition for wanting to invent things, he was able to invent it. The bulb is described as a carbon filament strip connected to contact wires. And this is from the Edison Mucker's website. Now this was a great invention because before people would try and use things for metal because they would burn very hot for short periods of time. But he went through many years of different things and different trial and errors so he could learn it. He was also asked in the article about if he had any close friends who would help him through tough times in his inventing. But he said that he had none of these friends because the path alone is the path where you have gained the most experience. And to me, this spoke a lot because it showed the type of person his want to learn. And the article was the Topeka State Journal. He also lit up 59 homes for his first test trial. And this was a great deal because it had never been done before. People traveled from near and far just to see these things that he had done and the many different great other inventions he had in this town as well at the time. The Time magazine also said that the world we live in today is a legend to Edison's devotion to science and inventing. And I do believe this is true just because of all the things we see that are electrically connected. Edison advanced technology so much. This was documented in the biography.com. This was something that they said about him, and they said that he had 1,093 patents, but 560 of them were abandoned. Now this shows you that not just because you're famous and just because you invent a lot of great things doesn't mean you will not have some failures, but it also shows you that don't let your failures define your success. It also says, if you did not know, that a patent is a exclusive control of an individual. This is documented in the Merriam-Webster. He changed the world's view on electricity, and he also changed the way that we cool our homes and we have our street lights along. In conclusion, I hope that I've been able to show you how electricity was changed by Edison and how he impacted lights like no other person had done before. It was Edison's destiny to invent, and it opened many others inventors' eyes in this time. Every invention you see, though, someone has put in the time and sacrifice to do this. Thank you.